I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey guys, I'm Princess here with AfterBuzz TV, and today we're doing a spotlight on, and we're shining the spotlight on actress Jeanine Mason. Hey girl.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining us on this lovely, gloomy LA day.
Wonderful. It's pretty here in Miami right now, but it's dusky, so that's
Well, hey, listen, we need the rain, so we'll take the rain over here.
Yes,
We'll take
amen.
the rain. So speaking of Miami, how's your home quarantine going? What have you been up to?
It's going really well. We're sort of at that time now where it feels like we're getting into a groove a bit. But yeah, I came down. I am living in New York currently, and so pretty early on, I came down coincidentally to watch the first episode of season 2 of Roswell premiere, and that was March 16th. And I just didn't feel good about going back after. So I've been here since. So my heart is a little torn because I want to so badly be in New York and that for it to be better there. But I'm happy to be with me, and we're getting there. We're getting there. It's starting to flatten that curve.
Yes. Hopefully we'll be out of this soon.
Exactly. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I wish I could be with my family, but it's actually, my mom is a nurse, so it's actually good that I'm here and away from her because she could be bringing things home every day, and it's always a trial. So, but we're good, thankfully.
Good. Thank her for me. That's amazing. I'm so happy.
Michelle,
Here she said,
yes, you're welcome on her behalf.
Thank you.
So let's go ahead and go into, so you're in Miami, that's where you're from. And from what I read, you started dancing pretty much when you came out of the crib. They just like took you and put you in the dance room. So can you tell us about your story and how you even got into dancing, and give us a little bit of information on that?
Yeah, well, I started walking even before I was 1. I was just like ready to move. I was ready to put a show on, man. I was a very obnoxious child.
Wait, what?
I was a very obnoxious child. I was constantly putting on some sort of show, But yeah, I started dance when I was 3, and really just started with ballet and flamenco, and then started adding different disciplines. And around age 7, I knew I wanted to be an actor. And for me, actor meant being that like MGM sort of actor that could do all of it, that had like that varied of an instrument, that had access to all the disciplines. So I just started on that journey. I started taking voice lessons. I started doing theater here in Miami. I started dancing a lot, competing a lot. And my parents always told me when I was 18, I could start doing it professionally. So I moved out to LA, and my first gig was actually So You Think You Can Dance, which is a reality show. Still one of my faves. And the best, and it really was for me. Like, we didn't have access to the industry. I'm first generation Cuban American. Both my parents are Cuban immigrants. Our whole life and circle is in Miami, extended and beyond. So to think of having some sort of anyone in LA or New York, it wasn't possible for me. So that show really gave me the opportunity to say, hey, I'm an actor and I'm a storyteller, and that's such a big part of that show. And from there, I got my representation, and I just like to put myself through school. I just like worked with all the acting coaches I could in LA, and little by little hustling. It's been 10 years since then, and I mean, I've done the whole gamut. I've done like the guest stars, the co-stars, the guest stars, the recurring, the pilots, and now it's like my first, working my way up. And now it's, being number 1 on a show. It's pretty wicked, man. I just like can't even believe it sometimes when I think about it that way.
Oh my gosh. So I think it's interesting that you mentioned that your parents said when you turn 18, that's when you can start pursuing this as a career. Why do you know why they did that? Because I feel like everyone wants their child to be a star, but that's so unique to me.
At the time, I was frustrated because I thought, well, maybe they don't not that they didn't believe in me, but I thought maybe they want me to be an adult and to feel what it feels like on my own. But really what I think it is that first of all, I'm one of 4 kids and we're in Miami. So again, I think they knew it was gonna work for me. So they went like, we can't uproot if she gets a gig and move to LA. We have 3 other kids. Our life is here, our family's here. And so they were like, you go do that journey on your own. And yeah, I mean, especially towards the beginning of my career, I was a little like, damn, if I had had a little earlier of a start, a lot of the big actors right now, they started when they were 15, 16, or
Mhm.
but I am so grateful for the way it panned out. And I am so grateful for how they instilled in me doing it on my own. Um, yeah, and their belief in me because they to this day, I mean, they've always more so than I do. I would go into a test, not get a pilot, or I would do a pilot and it wouldn't get picked up. And my mom and dad would be like, You're good. It's gonna work for you. It's just gonna work for you."
Mm.
They had just such certainty that I was like, "Oh shit, okay. I mean, I guess I
Yeah.
should go to the next audition then." Yeah.
Wow. That's so interesting because I have, obviously, I'm a person of color. Most of my friends are people of color, and they get a lot of pushback from their parents
Mhm.
because their parents just want them to succeed in the ways that they feel like are sure, like being a doctor, being a lawyer, being an engineer, whatever. And I
Totally.
love the fact that your parents were so supportive of you from a young age. I'm hoping to see more of that in our communities.
Absolutely, I'm with you. This has been the fun thing about playing Liz Ortecho. She's Mexican American, and we've
Mhm.
had interactions with fans who've been Mexican American and have commented on how supportive Arturo Ortecho is of Liz Ortecho's scientific, pursuits and ambitions, and for her to leave the house, and they're like, no Mexican dad ever wants their daughter to leave the house, and I'm like, I
Mhm.
feel that, I get that. That is very true for a lot of our communities. I think with my parents, like we had certain things. I went to college, I went to UCLA, and that was
Yeah.
something they wanted me to do, and that was something I wanted to do too. And that was part of our like non-negotiables. So I think they were
Mm.
they were taking care of me in a way,
Mhm.
in the way they knew how. But I think for them, it's like my mom worked while putting herself through school and raising my older sister. She didn't have that opportunity to go and do the creative thing. So I think they were really ready to support me in doing it by the time I came around, which was just very lucky. And they're amazing. So
That's awesome. So again, another unique turn I feel like is you went to school, you're a proud alumni of UCLA. How do you think going to college helped you? Because there's so many people who feel like they could, and for some people it works to forego college, right?
mhm.
But for you, how has it benefited you?
Education is everything for me, and absolutely, there's a lot of ways that you can acquire that for yourself, and that you can feel like you're armoring yourself with knowledge and curiosity, and like kindling those fires.
Mhm.
But for me, it's twofold. First of all, it was as first generation, it was something I wanted to do. It was something I wanted to do for my
Mhm.
parents. They put themselves through it, and it was for me, it was like, I'm gonna get to do it the American way. I'm gonna get to go and like go to parties and like have all my time to study and like take extracurriculars and like enjoy it and it not be like a part-time thing. So I
Mhm.
wanted that for me and I wanted to give them that too. And then I'm a good student. So for me, it lines up. Like I love studying. And so for me, it really created like a structure where I was able to follow curiosities. And even now,
Mhm.
like just in these quarantine times, I just joined masterclass because I love it, man. I love learning. And I've been meaning to do it for a long time. So a girlfriend of mine
Mhm.
just and I just split it and we're doing like
Mhm.
your annual or whatnot.
Mhm.
Um, so even the classes I'm picking, it's like off of stuff like curiosities that started back at UCLA, where like I
Mm.
was always taking I was sort of skidding around writing classes because I was trying to focus on like production classes and film and TV classes. And now I'm like, you know what? Those few writing classes I took, I really enjoyed them. And so all that character stuff that so plays into acting, I'm starting to do like a Neil Gaiman class on masterclass, and it's been so fun. You know,
Wow. I heard that Shonda Rhimes' masterclass is really good, which I'm
I
sure
got
you're aware of.
I gotta do that one next, of course. I gotta. Yeah.
So do you, with that being said though, is that something that you hope to get into in the future? Do you hope to transition to writing or be able, I mean, ideally do both? Like, how do you see that playing out in your future?
Totally. I'm excited about bringing people together. I'm excited about working as a producer right now. And in the last year, 2 years, I've really started thinking in that way. Um,
Mhm.
to be honest, it was really born out of a place of seeing the way this industry works. And the way this industry works is people who like working together continue working together. And
For sure.
and I get that, you know,
Mhm.
but how much space is there for someone like me or someone who is going to be the point person for the stories within my community? I want to say, I want to share.
Mm.
So for me, it's like, okay, I wanna be one of those boss babes like Gina Rodriguez and Eva Longoria, and Issa Rae, and that are doing they're surrounding themselves by their people who they've come up with, and being content machines, so I love reading, so that's been it works for me in that way, where I'm just kind of always keeping my eyes open for stuff that could be fun to champion on my own and
Mhm.
make it.
I love it. Are there any books, because you just mentioned you like reading, are there any books that you would love to adapt in the future and turn
Oh god.
into like a series or a film?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I'm currently in love with a few that we're trying to do that with. And
Hey.
um it's just, yeah, it's been fun. So we'll see. Hopefully. Hopefully I
Mm,
have stuff to report sooner than later, but stuff will be
yeah.
reported.
I'm excited. I mean, I love to see us using this time to be creative and to get those juices flowing. I feel like I've seen so much creativity since all of this
Mhm.
began. So it's kind of like the silver lining or the blessing in all of this, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, my publicist Lindsay, she's so rad, and her and I were talking, and she's like, what I'm seeing is a lot of cool like photo opportunities where people are doing like through, as if you and I right now we're doing photo shoots of each other, like with my space and your space. And I just thought,
Hmm.
like, that's so rad. Like that is the story of humanity, man. Like, faced with adversity, we figure it out. We like find a way to stay creative and keep creating through it. So
Hmm.
it's so cool to see what these like photographers and people are figuring out with like within the social distancing, collaboration space.
Well, everyone's using Zoom, Skype, Google Duo. There's just so many options now. So it's like, you have
Yeah.
no excuse. Why not?
Totally. Yeah, figure it out.
So,
Yeah.
what have you been doing besides master classes? What else have you been doing to kind of pass the time?
Oh man, I've been cooking a lot, which I think everybody has. I read something recently that there was a like spike in banana bread recipe Googles,
That's
which
random, but makes sense.
makes sense, like a comfort food.
Yeah, I could see
Um,
that.
so yeah, I made a banana bread, which I've done it like 3 times now. I'm trial and erroring it, seeing if I can perfect it. But it's a rum banana bread.
Oh, it's the adult banana bread.
It's like exactly for the adult table at the party.
This
So
side
yeah,
only, not that side.
right. So I've been doing a lot of cooking, a lot of reading, um,
Mm.
catching up on movies, man. Like movies that I'm watching Roman Holiday right now with Audrey Hepburn, and not only is
Now's
it
the
making
time.
me, oh my, I watched To Catch a Thief the other day, that Hitchcock film with Cary Grant, who, my God, was that man dreamy, and Grace Kelly. And I was just
So
watching it going,
good.
oh, Italy, Italy, I can't wait to be there, and be like,
One
we're
day.
good, we're back to normal. So, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been fun just trying to fill up the creative tank, I think, really, and spending time
Yeah.
with. Yeah.
Could we see you doing any dancing? Do you have any of that up your sleeve?
Honestly, in projects, you mean, like in work?
Either or even TikTok, that works too.
I need to get on this TikTok thing. I
It's
gotta
what the
start.
cool kids are doing.
Forgot. And so I'm in my mom's apartment in Brickell in Miami, and across the way there's another building, and there are these three, I'm assuming sisters, and like all day they're out on their balcony practicing TikTok videos, and I'm just like, you got it, girls! Like, so proud of you. It's amazing. So I got to jump on that, but oh hell yeah,
Okay.
we are doing like every now and then my brother will just start blasting I like to move it, and we're just like, okay, we need just like a mental health dance break right now.
I love it. Do you ever think, speaking of, so you brought up dancing in the future, do you ever think that we could see you in more of like a dirty dancing or more of a dance type of film? Do you ever hope to bring the two together, or for you, are they kind of separate worlds?
Oh, absolutely. Would love to bring them more and more together all the time if I
Hmm.
could. I'm actually I can't talk about it too much, but because it hasn't been announced yet. But I did a movie musical last year, and that'll premiere this year towards the end of the year. And I'm so excited because
Hmm.
I got to sing in that one as well, and so it was just like a dream and totally unexpected timing where I just thought, oh my God, here it is, this thing that I've been trying to manifest for so long. So I'm hoping that coming out will just sort of open more doors in that way because
Hmm.
I love it. I love working from like the top of my head all the way to the last toe. I always say, like it's like every inch of you performing. It's so fun for me. So we'll
Hmm.
see more of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really cool. So we've seen you on So You Think You Can Dance. We've seen you on Bunheads. We know you can dance and we know what you can act. But to hear you sing, can you tell us how was that experience for you? Now you're in a musical.
It was so nerve wracking. I Oh man, I have been taking voice lessons my whole life, but I
Mm.
really the performing I'd done is in like little theaters and stuff. And then it was like day one of this movie, and I'd never done a movie musical, right? So apparently you record it. Traditionally, you record it all ahead of time, and then when you go to film it, you're lip syncing essentially to your own track, right?
Mm.
On the set, right? And so day one of this movie, I'm like so nervous, and I'm like in a recording studio in Atlanta that's like legends have recorded there, and it's like the mic and the headset and the soundstage, and I'm just like, what am I doing here? It was so intimidating, but I had such a good time, and the cast is unreal. Like I was the only, you know, more novice singer. The rest of them are just pros. So it was nice to feel like, they were gonna pick up any slack.
Sure you
Truly.
were fine. I mean, if you've been taking vocal lessons for all these years, I'm sure you're good to go. You're squared away.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. This December, we'll see.
Yes. I'm looking forward to December. Hopefully it doesn't get pushed back. Everything has been
I
getting pushed back.
I know. We'll see, but we'll
We'll
be
see.
okay.
Well, I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled and look to
Thank
December.
you. Thank you.
So let's go into Roswell. So this is your first, and you mentioned it earlier, your first lead role, and you worked your way up from the bottom. You start at the bottom, now you're here. So for you, what was it like transitioning from, kind of being one of the, not being a lead character to
Mhm.
now it's about you. It's all about you. How was that transition for you?
Oh man, it seemed so impossible off the top. I came from
Mm.
working on Grey's Anatomy, which I adored that experience. And I felt so like my hand was being held through that whole
Mhm.
experience, because everyone has been doing it for so long. It's such a well-oiled machine. They take risks, and they're so encouraged to take risks because they're just damn good at it. And I was an intern. My character was an intern, so we by
Mhm.
nature we were already like the newbies, you know what I mean? And that was part of our on camera life, was this like nervous jitteriness. Um and then I thought like, well, hopefully this pilot season, this job is putting me in a position to really get a, a job that feels like a reach, and that
Mhm.
like getting a number one position on a show just seemed way beyond even the reach. And I mean, I love it. I love it, which has been a surprise to me. I really, or not a surprise, I think, but off the top, I thought like, what is this going to feel like to carry all of that responsibility,
Mhm.
and then being in it, it's a pure joy for me. I love it. I will do this as long as they let this show run. I will gladly do this. It has been. I'm learning so much. You just get so many at bats. Like my dad and my brother played baseball, so I think in sports terms a lot. And it's such a gift to have that much of an opportunity to show up to work and to deliver, and also to show up to work, try to deliver, and knowing that like so many people are behind you. So many people are going like, we want this to work and we want this to be great. And that doing a good job means so much to so many people. It means like so much to the fans, it means so much to the show still existing and having a run. Um, it's been amazing. And I spent like the 2 months before just like picking everybody's brain who I knew, who had been in the industry for a long time, who could give me advice. I'm like, what's a great number one? How does that person behave on a set? And I hope I'm doing my part, you know. But it's a huge blessing. I'm so, so grateful. Every day, more grateful, honestly.
How have you handled the pressures of it? Because I'm sure it's a lot, you know?
For sure. I mean, listen, some days better than others. That's for sure.
Hey, you're human. It's okay.
You know, exactly. We're all just trying to make it work. Some days better than others, but this year, season 2 was really interesting to me because I really tried to prep ahead of time. I had more of a sense of what it was and what it feels like on your body. So I tried to prep ahead of time and just like mentally prepare myself, you know, like set up some mantras for myself, some stuff that felt like on days where I was like doubting myself, I could be like, these are the things that I know to be true and I can lean on, you know? And so I'm really grateful to my circle, which, you know, cared enough and knew me enough to suggest that I will prepare in that way. And, you know, that's the thing about this job, man. I mean, every day is different, you know, so you're learning constantly. And if it's boring, that's on you. Because if
That
you're
is.
listening, you know, if you're listening, growing up fully every day, something new every day, you know. Yeah.
So this season, you guys have highlighted a subject matter that is very hot topic and just it applies to so many communities. And I know that it's an important issue for you, which is so we're dealing with the issue of immigration. And I'm glad that you guys explored it. Are there any other subject matters that you hope they'll bring up in the future?
Oh my gosh, I love that. Oh man. Hmm. You know, I had this idea of this story that came to me when I was on a volunteer trip to Tijuana with this amazing group called This Is About Humanity. And they go to the shelters at the border there, people who are essentially in line waiting for their citizenship to go through. And they will, you know, raise money for like school supplies for these kids, coloring books, better beds, more tents, whatever they need, you know. They updated the kitchen this year, like incredible organization. And we were there, and I had this idea because they share first person experiences, and we were speaking to this young man who was talking about the raid when they came to his house, when ICE came to his house and took his parents, and he was with his siblings, and he was hiding in a closet, and he says that the light was behind him. They'll normally do it in the mornings because that's when they know everybody's going to be home. And I know that hurts. And he was coming from the door, so he was backlit towards this like slit that he was sitting in, sort of hiding in. And he just spoke about the figure, like the shadow figure walking towards him. And I just thought, man, to feel so afraid in that moment and to hear your parents in distress being removed, and like, you're just a kid, you know, you didn't do anything to deserve any of this. It really made me imagine Liz getting to be a mentor or an pseudo older sister to a young person who is beginning to deal with those feelings that she has and that she still does of instability of her family unit, of how vulnerable it is, how it can be removed from her at any moment, you know. And I thought like that would be so awesome if we could bring it full circle at some time and have her get to like hold some somebody's hand and say like, I'm going to help you through this, and it's going to be okay. And you're not alone. Because it's not something you want to talk about either. It's something you
Mhm.
are in full secrecy about. So I think Liz would be a good person to do that, and a really beautiful way of people who are watching the show to go, wow, um, if Liz is saying she made it through, then I can make it through, and I can find an ally.
Mm. Kind
Mm.
of in that vein, what are your hopes for Liz? We're going through each season with her. We're seeing her grow. What are your hopes for her future?
Oh man, it changes so much depending on where we are in the season for sure too. Um,
Hmm.
you know, with season 2, especially where we are right now, first episode 5 airs this next week on Monday. She has so many responsibilities, and she's trying to take
Hmm.
care of so many people, and
Hmm.
I just, that kills me, because I know that that is the role, particularly of women of color, and women for sure. And it breaks my heart to see her putting everything into so many people, and being a pseudo mom to so many people, while she's grieving herself, trying to bring her dead boyfriend back from life.
Hmm.
Um, so I find myself like wishing that she could have time to do her, and space to do her, and
Hmm.
what that would look like for her, and what and I and what who are the characters, who are the people in our show who would be in support of that, who would be like, she should get to go and do what she wants to do her research, like she's an actual genius, her brain is her superpower.
Hmm.
um, so yeah. And then towards the end of the season, it's totally different then. I guess that's
Hmm.
the nature of life for sure. There's
Yes.
just change with big life events. And then on a sci-fi show, like, big life events are like every 5 episodes. So
I mean, it keeps it interesting.
it really does.
How do you see yourself in Liz? You know,
Ooh,
do you see yourself in her? She could be very different.
totally. I mean, off the top, I totally was like, huh? Because she's a biomedical engineer. I'm like, huh? What? But I do see myself in her a lot, and uh, I aspirationally see myself in Liz. There's a lot about her I wish I had, and I love spending time in her. It has truly like made me a woman, made me more of a woman. I think it's connected me more to my voice, to my authority, to my agency. Those are gifts that Liz Ortecho's given me.
If someone said you could have the role of any particular person
Hmm.
ever, in the past, dead or alive, who would you love to portray? Just kind of walk in their shoes.
Ooh, that's wonderful. Man. So you want so like a real person who lived, you think?
I mean, it could be a fictional character. That's,
Mhm.
whoever you want to be. Um,
Totally.
or even like, could be a relative, anybody, or no one at all. That's fine too.
You know, like,
So,
if people ask me about movies, I always think about Catherine Zeta-Jones in Chicago. Like, she has such a
mm,
fury, like, for feisty furiosity about her. Like, I just love it. Ferociousness. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for.
mhm.
That when I think about my, like, you know, movie music, like, energy I want to put out into the world, I'm like, I would love to do something like that, something like unapologetic like that. Um,
Mm.
but man, I don't know. I have
Or if not a person, let's say a role, like a particular
yeah.
type of person.
Wow. I have a lot of plays that I'm excited to hopefully do one day.
Mhm.
There's one called Venus in Fur, which I really love, and it's another woman who like teeters between very comical, very like you believe her to be um uh very naive, very um aloof, and then she reveals to have been manipulating him the entire time, and by the end
Mm.
you see her in all her power, and she's actually here enacting some epic revenge. And I
Mhm.
love the chameleon aspect of it. I'm also fascinated by the FBI and the like secret agent, the American Zero Dark 30, Jessica Chastain kind of character,
Espionage. Yeah.
espionage stuff. Like and just like that level of quiet authority and knowledge and like diplomacy, it's like it's a much smaller um, physical life than some of these other characters. So I like the
Mhm.
idea of those. I think, yeah, if I had like another life in in this body, I would totally go like secret agent FBI.
I could see you doing it, to be honest with you. I was like, both of these roles, I feel like they are who you are. They are Jeanine.
Oh, why, thank you.
You're
Thank you, Beth.
welcome. You're welcome. So you already hinted that you have a musical on the way.
Uh-huh.
What other projects are you working on that you can give us a tea about?
Okay, so one other one is also, I can't tell you what show it is, but it's coming out this year too, and it's my first time doing an animated TV show, and I'm so
Oh,
excited. And I also get to sing on that one, so it's a big singing
oh,
year.
good.
And then
That's
the
so
other
good.
one I can tell you now, I'm guest starring on Grace and Frankie this year, and it's their 7th and final season on Netflix, and I love that show. So I just did that job before this all went down. So I feel very lucky that I was able to shoot it before, and I love that show. It was so fun, and I can't wait for it to be out.
Also, you were just on Whose Line Is It Anyway? How was
Yes.
that experience?
Oh my God, unreal. I had I had done some improv back in the day, but hadn't in
Mm.
a long while. And I said yes to doing improv with a girlfriend's improv group at UCB. They're called Spanish Aquí Presents, and they're the only all Latinx improv group at UCB. And so they invited me to improv with them, and I said yes, even though I was terrified. And like a couple weeks later, this Who's Line call came. So it sort of was the thing that gave me the confidence to say yes to Who's Line. I still
Mhm.
was so terrified. Like I truly blacked it all out. Watching it with my family the other day, I'm like, I don't know what happens because I blacked it all out. But
Self-care.
exactly, that was some
Self-care.
self-care. Just going, you don't need to be here right now. I'm going to remove you from the equation.
Wow. But
So
that's gotta be so cool and so exciting for you as an actor to stretch yourself. Like, how did you grow after experiencing that once you came out of the blackout?
oh my God, like it's that same thing which I remember happening to me the first time I ever performed to, the first time I ever did a dance when I was like 6. I did a solo by myself. And I remember
Mhm.
I was so afraid to be out there by myself. And then the second I came off stage, I was like, that wasn't so bad. And then later I was with my parents and I'm like, I want to do it again. And they're like, well, that's not how this works, sweetie. But in a few weeks you can do it again. And that really was what it was. I was so nervous and I felt like I blacked it all out. And then after I was like, why was I even doubting myself? I can handle this. Next time I'm going to just walk into it with a little more confidence. you know?
Mhm.
So, still learning. It's a never
Yeah,
ending.
yeah. But it's so interesting that you took that class, you did the improv class, and then you got this call. It just goes to show you sometimes you feel like life is random, but sometimes it just doesn't feel like it is at all. It prepared you.
Like what we were talking about with taking advantage of this time, like I really do feel like following your curiosities and this, otherwise downtime where you're thinking like, oh, this is wasted, and if nothing is wasted.
Mm.
I've seen that happen so much already in my career where I've been curious about something and gone down a rabbit hole and read books about it, and then 6 months later I'm working on a character who that's their occupation. You know what I mean? Or
Mm.
um, I really think you can will things into your life like that.
Do you feel like you'll ever change paths and maybe try directing for a time or kind of going and becoming a writer for a time? Or do you feel like you want to stick to acting, stick to dancing, and just kind of stay in this lane? Like, what would you love to do in the future?
Totally. I mean, I feel like I will be an actor for the rest of my life. Like, I don't think I'll ever retire. I hope I don't have to because I want to be invited to the party for the rest of my life.
Hmm.
um, but I am excited about, particularly in being in New York now, like, I'm excited about directing for stage. I'm excited about directing theater, and my brain works like that with like the dance and the acting coming together. I think about a stage when I think about what I could do that would be fun visually, and that's sort of how I see shows. Even I go like, oh, that I like the way they played with this, and it's all physical. So I imagine the directing being more for theater than maybe for TV and film, but you know,
Mm,
we'll see. Maybe not. Who knows?
yeah. Would you ever go on another dance show? Would you ever do like Dancing with the Stars or become a judge? I mean, you're qualified to be a judge, so.
I mean, I would love to be a judge. Yeah, I'm hoping to get to come and judge on So You Think You Can Dance. Obviously, it's a
Mhm.
skip show, so right now we'll see when it comes. But I would love to come and get to just have a little full circle moment and get to, you know, be excited with these dancers about like how much they have ahead of them. You know?
Mhm. And
Yeah.
you have a sister that dances too, right?
Yes, she grew up dancing. She went to USC and she was the captain of the song girls there. So
Oh,
she
rivals.
did. We survived. We survived the school rivalry.
Yeah,
Now she's an attorney and kicking ass.
that's good for her. That's good for
Yes,
her. I feel
right.
like there's that nice balance.
Totally. I'm like, do people at your firm know that you can like kill it on the floor? Like,
You've
she's
got to put her out there. That's what siblings do. Like if
done,
she hasn't told them, it's your job to tell them. You got to let
done.
them know.
Be like, they told me I had to.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a pleasure. I hope you get to enjoy that Miami warmth that we're lacking here in LA.
Oh, thank you. I know. I
It's
will
chilly.
send it over to you guys.
Thank you. Hopefully, we'll be out of this soon, you know? Hopefully, it
I
won't be
hope
too
so
much
too.
longer.
I
Yeah.
hope so. This was so lovely, and I truly am so grateful to you and your mother. So thank you for staying with me in this quarantine season.
Of course, of course. So, of course, we can watch you on Roswell and season 7 of Grace and Frankie eventually.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that you just wanted to let your fans know before we prepare to take off?
Just to join me Monday nights because we're being super creative, our cast of Roswell. And we know you guys are home and with your families and might be feeling a little bit like angsty or stressed. So we're coming up with a bunch of creative ways to be with you guys, to spend time with you guys. So join us Mondays at 9, 8 Central because we're going to be doing a bunch of lives and things and yeah, sharing some stuff. Yeah.
All right. Tune in Mondays, guys, Monday nights.
Yeah.
All right. And then before we head out, can you just shout out your socials for us? Because we all want to follow you because we love you because you're amazing. So,
God, please and thank you. My social is at it's Jeanine Mason, ITS Jeanine Mason.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you once again, guys. I'm Princess Carol. You can follow me at Princess CTV on all the socials. It's the same. I kept it consistent.
Good on
And of course, guys, please check out Roswell on the CW, Roswell, New Mexico, on the CW. And guys, let's give a round of applause to Jeanine. She's amazing. Thank you guys for joining us. And we will see you guys on the next Spotlight On. Thanks, Jeanine.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.